Shema Israel. Hope you enjoy this next study. My name's Dee. This is my wife, Millie.
So if you like what you see, subscribe and hit the notification bell. And if you wish to reach out to us, you can email us at devotedtoyah@gmail.com.
All right, shalom, shalom. We will be going over the book of Matthew, chapter 14. Let's get into it. Okay, here we go. John chapter 14, verse 1. At that time, Herod, the Tetrarch, heard the news about Yahusha and said to his servants, "This is John the Baptist. He himself has been raised from the dead, and that is why miraculous powers are at work in him." For when Herod had John arrested, he bound him and put him in prison because of Herodias, the wife of his brother Philip. For John had been saying to him, "It is not lawful for you to have her." Although Herod wanted to put him to death, he feared the crowd because they regarded John as a prophet. That's very important. But when Herod's birthday came, the daughter of Herodias danced before them and pleased Herod, so much that he promised with an oath to give her whatever she asked. And after being prompted by her mother, she said, "Give me the head of John the Baptist here on a platter." And although he was grieved, the king commanded it to be given because of his oaths and his diner guests. Very interesting. He sent word and had John beheaded in prison, and his head was brought on a platter and given to the girl, and she brought it to her mother. And John's disciples came and took away the body and buried it. And they went and reported to Yahusha. Okay, so the first thing I want to dig into a little bit here, obviously I have in bold some of the areas I want to highlight. Herod. Who is this Herod? So I'll go over here using blueletterbible.org. Right? Go to the passage. Matthew 14:1, G2264. And here's a little history here of who this character is in this story for those who don't know. So one, Herod is a family name, and it means heroic. All right, let me zoom this in a little bit. All right. The name of a royal family that flourished among the Jews in the times of Messiah and the apostles. Herod the Great was the son of Antipater. I don't know how to say these names. Antipater of Idumea, appointed king of Judea in BC 40 by the Roman Senate at the suggestion of Antony and with the consent of Octavian. He at length overcame the great opposition which the country made to him and took possession of the kingdom BC 37. And after the battle of Actium, he was confirmed by Octavian, whose favor he ever enjoyed. He was brave and skilled in war, learned and sagacious, whatever that means, crafty of some sort probably, but also extremely suspicious and cruel. Hence, he destroyed the entire royal family of Hasmoneans, put to death many of the Jews that opposed his government, and proceeded to kill even his dearly beloved wife, Mariam, of the Hasmonean line, and his two sons she had borne him. Ruthless guy. By these acts of bloodshed, and especially by his love and imitation of Roman customs and institutions, and by the burdensome taxes imposed upon his subjects, he so alienated the Jews that he was unable to regain their favor by his splendid restoration of the temple and other acts of munificence, some acts of cruelty. He died in the 70th year of his age, the 37th year of his reign, the fourth before the Dionysian 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 era. In his closing years, John the Baptist and Messiah were born. Matthew narrates that he commanded all the male children under 2 years old in Bethlehem to be slain. So this Herod the Great was the man that wanted Yahusha dead. All the male children during the time where Yahusha, God with us, Elohim, Yahuwah, who became flesh, this man wanted him dead, but did not succeed. Hallelujah. But now let's go to this character that we're reading about right now, Herod. Herod, uh, surname Antipas, this is his nickname, was the son of Herod the Great, and Malthus, a Samaritan woman. After the death of his father, he was appointed by the Romans Tetrarch. I think Tetrarch is some form of, I don't know if it's a higher ranking than a governor, because there's a separate word for governor and this position. I feel like this position is higher than a governor, but less below a emperor. But we could look into that as well. So anyway, he was appointed by the Romans Tetrarch of Galilee and Peri. His first wife was the daughter of Herodes, king of Arabia, but he subsequently repudiated her and took to himself Herodias, is what we're reading about now, the wife of his brother Herod Philip. This is why John is saying it's not lawful for you to take this wife. Interesting. There's a lesson in that, by the way, that a lot of people, there's some scriptures that says judgment starts in the house of God, right? And we're not to judge outsiders. That's not literally saying don't judge outsiders. The context of those passages is that the standard in the house of God, in the house of Yahuwah, amongst believers, is higher than those that are outside. There's more expected, better is expected of you if you are a professing believer. But in no way, shape, or form are we to not judge. Sin is sin, even for Gentiles who are outside of Israel, outside of covenant with the God of Israel. Um, so that's a lesson I think to learn from what we're reading so far. John rebukes Gentiles, non-believers, according to the Ten Commandments, committing adultery, taking a woman that doesn't belong to him, taking a woman that's unlawful. Anyway, we can go into that, but cross-reference those passages. But anyway, it says here, his first wife was the daughter of Herodes, king of Arabia, but he subsequently repudiated her and took to himself Herodias, the wife of his brother Herod Philip. And in consequence, Herodes, his father-in-law, made war against him and conquered him. He cast John the Baptist into prison because John had rebuked him for his unlawful connection. And afterwards, at the instigation of Herodias, he ordered him to be beheaded, induced by her. Two, he went to Rome to obtain from the emperor the title of king. So you can see here that this guy wanted. So I think this again, like I said before, this position, Tetrarch, wherever that word is in this paragraph, um, that position, here it is right here. He was the Tetrarch of Galilee and Perea. He wasn't satisfied with this position. I mean, his dad was Herod the Great, right? He's a son, and he's got a position that's lower than king. He wants to be king. So you can see here through this historical information, he went to Rome to obtain from the emperor the title of king. But in consequence of the accusations brought against him by Herod Agrippa the first, Caligula banished him in AD 39 to Lugdunum in Gaul, where he seems to have died. He was light-minded, sensual, and vicious. So that's all we'll read about that. But let's get back to this point here. So that's about Herod. Tetrarch, let's look into this word. Let's look into this word here. Let's go back. Scroll down. G5076. Let's see what we can get from here. Give it a shot. A tetrarch. Okay, a governor of the fourth part of a region. Okay, a fourth part. Interesting. Thus, Strabo states that Galactia was formerly divided into three parts, each one of which was distributed into four smaller subdivisions, each of which was governed by a tetrarch. Strabo relates that Thessaly, before the time of Philip and Macedon, had been divided into four tetrarchies, each having its own tetrarch. I'm interested to dig a little deeper about this real quick. For whatever it's worth, we go with Wiki sometimes, gives a quick little answer. I know a lot of people don't like Wikipedia. It's not really Wikipedia, WikiDiff. But anyway, governor versus tetrarch. What's the difference? As nouns, the difference between governor and tetrarch is that governor is politics, the leader of a region or state that is a member of a federation or an empire in Rome. They were endorsed by the emperor and appointed by the Senate in the modern United States. They are elected by the people of that state, while tetrarch is a governor of a part of a country, especially of a fourth part of a province in ancient Rome. So it sounds like tetrarch is lower than a governor. All right. That's what it seems like to me, for whatever that's worth. You can see here, obviously little um struggle with the ego, this guy's ego. Um so anyway, that's a little bit about Herod and Tetrarch, his position, a little background, who we're talking about, who this guy is.